950. Real Texas, Real Talk. KPRC Houston, an iHeart radio station.
Nobody's higher priority when it comes to getting a vaccine than nursing home patients and the staff that works there. But I find it fascinating that the participation rate, pretty good, I guess, according to a national survey, pretty good when it comes to nursing home patients. About 78% of them have gotten at least one shot. Only 37.5% of staff members got the shot. You would think working in that kind of setting, especially in close proximity to seniors, you would want to get the shot, get the vaccination. But it's always been interesting to me how many people in the healthcare field are skeptical about things like vaccines, and maybe they have a reason. Brian Levy joins us, senior care expert. Why do you think that the participation rate in the staff is so low, Brian?
Hi, thanks for having me. It's a great question, and at first it was shocking, and then when you delve into it and really talk to the caregivers and better understand where they're coming from, whether they have allergies, they're allergic to certain vaccinations. Some of our caregivers are breastfeeding and won't take it. The fear of the unknown, and quite honestly, here in Dallas, we have two divisions. We have Manchester Place Care Homes, which is boutique assisted living, and we also have a Cambridge Caregivers division that is in-home care. And most of our caregivers are immigrants, mostly from Africa. And, we're accustomed to American medicine and the CDC and pretty much trusting the government, and they're not. So they're very skeptical.
Well, like I said, that in a lot of ways that makes a lot of sense. Now, obviously, the participation rate for the residents is pretty good. How are we doing, generally speaking? You can probably speak specifically at Dallas, but generally in Texas, how do you think we are doing? Certainly a lot better than states like New York, I'm guessing, as far as keeping our nursing home patients safe.
Yeah, we're fortunate that we have a great medical director who was on top of it from the beginning, established relationships with various pharmacies, and we were first in line. So we had all of our staff vaccinated that would get it. I would say probably 75% of our staff have been vaccinated, including executive and caregivers that are client-facing or patient-facing. We have almost 100% of our residents, 100% of our residents, and now we're starting to vaccinate some of our private duty clients. So,
Which vaccine did they get?
Both. We've worked with Pfizer and Moderna.
Okay. And the Pfizer is the 2-shot dose, correct? And the Moderna is just the 1 dose?
No, the Moderna is a 2-dose as well.
Okay, so they're both 2 doses. And you've had no problem, obviously no problem with supply. Has everybody been already through the second shot or just through the first?
It's a rotation because obviously there's first, second. So we have all of our staff in our care homes and all of our residents in our care homes fully vaccinated, and including our executive staff. And now we're starting to do the second round for our private duty clients.
Brian, tell me a little bit about, controlling ingress and egress to something like a nursing home. We have another talk show host, and I hate to steal his material, but he was he made a great point in his program today. His name is Michael Berry. And he said one of the things that kind of has struck him about this situation as it relates to our seniors, and I think he's got a good point. Senior citizens basically you get to a point where you have 3 things in life you really look forward to as a senior. You look forward to traveling, you look forward to going out and eating at a restaurant, and you look forward to visiting with your grandkids. And for at least a significant portion of time, for a significant portion of seniors, we took all those things away from them.
Yeah, and in addition to that, isolated them. Yeah, it's real, and it is heartbreaking. We're fortunate in a way that in our care homes, most of our residents have such high level of acuity or dementia that, I'm sure cognitively they know something's different, but they don't realize that the family's not there every day. We have families that literally come to visit every day, and for a year now, it hasn't been that way. We do we do allow visits by appointment only with PPE behind plexiglass, and we've actually, quote unquote, certified our nurse and our doctor on staff have certified some of our family members as essential caregivers. So they are now allowed back in the homes to help feed and care for their loved ones while they're visiting with them. So it's been really nice.
Did you ever dream when this whole thing started last March that here we are almost a year later, we're still talking about it?
Never in a million years. And I remember the day we had a conference call, the executives, and we were talking about, well, maybe we should have our caregivers wearing masks. And we all looked at each other and we're like, yeah, that'll never happen. And here we are a year later. We have caregivers that they don't even want to take the mask off to go to sleep. I mean, we have ingrained in there that this is about PPE. And, I don't want anybody to have false sense of security with the vaccination. It is not a guarantee. Put your mask on. That's just, that's our mantra here. And I'm fortunate, and we're really proud of our medical staff. They have locked up our care homes. Ownership has not been inside in a year. No home health, no hospice, no vendors, nothing. It's just the same caregivers that are going in and out. We monitor them in great detail. So we're proud to say we're probably one of the only facilities in Dallas or Texas that have been COVID-free for almost a year now.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that, because you're right. That's been a really, really rare thing for sure to be completely COVID-free.
And it takes a lot of work and a lot of commitment, and it's not cheap. I mean, that's a financial commitment from ownership to do that. We have these two divisions, and the caregivers work for both divisions, so they can work more than 40 hours a week, and we took that away from them.
And it's not without, I would think, it's mental health issues. It's got to be very taxing on not only on the patients, but also on the staff, the kind of isolation that you have to go through in order to keep things that way.
Sure. And one of the things that I hear from our caregivers in the care homes the most is they miss the families coming to visit. We have 4-to-1 ratio in the care homes at Manchester Care Homes, and that's a lot of one-on-one time with the residents, but they also enjoy having the families to come visit and interact and keep the energy going. And now the onus is on the staff to do everything. And they do a lot of FaceTime and texting and sending stories to family members, but it's still not the same as the human touch of the loved one.
No, you're right. Absolutely not the same.
Yeah.
So have you started talking about the light at the end of the tunnel yet, or do you think it's too early for that in your facility?
You ask good questions. That's a great question. And I think with the vaccinations, we are starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel with regards to our visitation policy. We had a meeting this morning with ownership talking about loosening up and having more frequency, obviously not loosening up on the PPE requirements, but just the frequency of allowing families to come back into the homes. And we ask the families the hard questions, like you would when you go to the doctor. Where have you been? Have you traveled? Have you been near somebody with COVID? But yeah, we are going to start opening up some more visitation hours for sure.
I realize
there just has to be a balance.
Sure. I just realized, though, as I was asking the light at the end of the tunnel question, that when you're talking to somebody in a senior care facility where everybody's kind of old and facing mortality, that maybe that could be misinterpreted. Yeah. I didn't mean that light at the end of the tunnel. No rush on that,
great
right?
Expression. No, I get it. But, yes, well played.
Well, let's hope it gets back to normal. Like I said, the one thing that I will say, there used to be a time when it felt like, especially here in this country, we didn't really value, and maybe we still don't value our senior citizens as much as we should for the wisdom and the life that they've led and the things that they can teach us. But at least I feel when it comes to this particular incident, COVID-19, we seem to really get it. We seem to be going out of our way in many cases to protect these people, to put them at the front of the line instead of the back of the line because they're old for getting a shot. And for taking care of them. It's nice to see that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I deal with adults with elder parents all day long, and I tell every one of my clients that are helping their folks. I said, you know what? She taught you how to use a spoon. Be nice to her.
Yep, it's a great thing to say. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate the information.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate the good work you guys are doing. Take care.